What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy MrBaboon back with a reaction video. This time we have the Eggnog Riot Christmas Chaos at West Point, and this is uploaded by Extra History. So as always, the video and the channel link will be down in the description. If you guys want to check it out, you guys can. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the reaction one. Now, this video is also a possibility for it to be uploaded on Christmas on the 25th. So I don't know if it will. I think I already have a video that will come out for Christmas. This one I might have come out before Christmas, something like that. I figured out. But just in case I do drop this one on Christmas, hopefully you guys have a Merry Christmas, hanging out with your families, having a good time, all that good stuff. With that being said, I don't know if this is going to get uploaded, but it might get uploaded on Christmas. But we're going to go ahead and jump into the reaction real fast. And let's go and like full screen.
New York, 1826. 'Twas the night before Christmas, about second watch, when cadets were preparing for a festive debauch. They stirred up some yolks, cream, and cinnamon roots, and produced hidden booze from footlockers and boots. They whipped at the mixture to thicken the nog, then tipped in 3 gallons of moonshine and grog. They toasted the season while keeping things quiet. And 11 toasts later, came the Great Eggnog Riot.
Let's see. Time to learn about this. I never heard about this. This is my first time hearing about it.
Thanks so much to Tab for a Cause for supporting great charities. Find out how you can help for free after the episode. Eggnog. A beloved holiday beverage. Creamy and sweet. Kind of like a knit sweater in drink form, you know? Essentially harmless. Unless you were drinking it in 19th century America, when it would get you totally trashed. Back then, eggnog incorporated all that was cheap and plentiful in the early American Republic. Eggs and milk from dairy farms, sugar from the Caribbean Triangle trade, and who could forget huge amounts of alcohol. George Washington went hard with his own recipe, calling for a pint of brandy, a half pint of rum, a half pint of rye whiskey, and a quarter pint of sherry. Wow. But with this mixture, he led his guests in giving toast after toast after toast after toast, draining the glass each time. Yeah, turned out getting blitzed at the holidays was kind of an American custom, which is why, in 1826, dozens of West Point cadets defied the orders of Superintendent Sylvanus Thayer and brewed up a batch of boozy eggnog on their own. Now, Thayer ran West Point on a strict disciplinary regime. Actually, he'd been brought in for that purpose, appointed in 1817 to reform the then failing institution. He introduced a regimented schedule, physical exercise, a new focus on engineering, a 4-year curriculum, and a series of demerits. Basically, anything you imagine when you hear the words West Point. And that also included a strict code of conduct, which forbid cadets from purchasing, possessing, and drinking alcohol. At first, Thayer made exceptions for holidays. Cadets could drink on the 4th of July and Christmas. But Independence Day 1825 had turned into a drunken embarrassment, with cadets performing a snake dance and carrying Major William Worth, the popular commandant of cadets, back to their barracks. An unacceptable loss of military bearing. So now, Thayer had banned alcohol totally. And for the Christmas of 1826, the eggnog would be served bone dry. Yet Thayer's still worried that someone, somewhere, was having a good time. That's why, at his personal Christmas party on December 23rd, 1826, Thayer pulls Major Worth aside into a quiet corner to discuss rumors he's heard that cadets are smuggling in alcohol. And he even has a chief suspect, Cadet Jefferson Davis. Yup, that Jefferson Davis. As in later president of the Confederacy, Jefferson Davis. Turns out Davis is the worst drunk at the school, notorious for sneaking out to taverns. In fact, he'd just gotten out of the hospital after an incident where he'd been stumbling back in the dark and fallen down a 60-foot ravine. Needless to say, Davis was a bad influence. A rebel, though not like that teacher's pet Robert E. Lee, of course, who showed up at Thayer's office at 7 a.m. that morning to discuss trigonometry homework. Regardless, Thayer tells Worth that instructors staying in the barracks, Captain Hitchcock and Lieutenant Thornton, should definitely keep on the lookout. And boy, was he right to be concerned. For even as Thayer spoke, a batch of contraband eggnog was already brewing in the North Barracks. For weeks, cadets had been felching ingredients and food from the mess hall. And sure enough, Jefferson Davis was one of the instigators.
Oh,
the most
shit.
intrepid of which had ventured out to barter for alcohol at nearby taverns, but finding the prices too expensive for the sheer quantity they needed. 4 cadets had crossed the Hudson River, where prices were cheaper. They finally settled on 2 gallons of cheap, barely aged moonshine whiskey. But they ran into trouble on the way back, when they found a U.S. Army private guarding the West Point dock. So, whispering amongst themselves, they made a plan, scrapping together all of the money they had left for a bribe. 35 cents, which worked. Man, Zoe, corruption used to be so affordable. Frickin' inflation. So back at the barracks, they poured the whiskey into the mix, along with a gallon of rum from another cadet. This was their act of resistance, a statement proving that Thayer couldn't take away their boozy, deeply unhealthy traditions. Oh yes, tomorrow they would toast and get toasted. Christmas Eve, the North Barracks, 11:59 p.m. All is quiet when Captain Hitchcock makes his final night patrol. Seems like Thayer's worries were unfounded. Whatever's happening, at least it's staying quiet. He and Thornton go to bed. But in room 28, the holiday nog bar is open, baby! Cadets are stealthing in to get their drink, then spilling into the nearby room to toast. But the party has been going on for hours, and the mix is getting a little thin. That is until a Christmas miracle, when a cadet returns from a midnight run with another gallon of whiskey. Hey, wait, did I say miracle? I meant catastrophe, because this is where things start to go downhill. At 4 a.m. Christmas morning, Hitchcock awakes to such a clatter that he sprang from his bed to see what was the matter, which was, of course, 2 floors above him, a ton of singing, stomping, and shouting, just full-on revelry. He crashes the party and finds 6 cadets in a single room. And he's halfway through ordering them all back to their beds when he hears another commotion next door. And what Hitchcock finds in that room is both pathetic and hilarious.
In Albion, no matter where you go or what you do, your mount will accompany you on your journey. Perhaps you'll...
3 cadets completely blitzed. 2 cower under a blanket, while another tries to, and I kid you not, hide his identity by putting a hat over his face, which works exactly as well as you'd expect it would. Hitchcock berates them, ordering them back to their rooms. But the mood among the cadets starts to turn here a little. They're not cowed, they're angry. I mean, how dare he try to stop their deep-seated and wholesome tradition of celebrating the Messiah's birth by getting utterly annihilated on cream drinks laced with cheap rot gut, huh? And just as things start heating up, Hitchcock hears another roar downstairs and heads for the stairwell. Upon his exit, a cadet then makes a drunken decree. Get your dirks and bayonets and pistols if you got them. Before the night's over, Hitchcock will be dead. Meanwhile, on the ground floor, Hitchcock bursts into room 5. And it's crammed with cadets, more than the upstairs party. They all go still and turn to him. Then, with just the most impeccable timing, the opposite door slams open, and Jefferson Davis staggers in completely shit-faced and shouts, "You should put away the grog, boys! Captain Hitchcock is coming!" He then presumably adds a, Hitchcock reads the cadets the riot act, legally informing them they must disperse. He then specifically orders Davis to go back to his room and stay there. Davis does, and passes out in bed, thereby missing the rest of the festivities as the building descends into chaos. Dozens of drunk, belligerent cadets seize weapons. Then, when Hitchcock comes across a locked room, he kicks down the door, only to find himself looking down the barrel of a pistol. The powder jets in his face, but another cadet has slammed into the first cadet holding the gun, knocking off his aim. The bullet then explodes in the doorframe next to Hitchcock's head. Lieutenant Thornton, now awake, was doing no better. He tried to gain control of one group, only to be menaced with a sword. And then when he turned down a stairwell, another cadet knocked him out cold with a piece of wood. Hitchcock ran to a cadet on guard duty and told him to get the Commandant, Major Worth. He was popular with the cadets and they might listen to him. Only here's where things get really twisted, because some of the rioting cadets misheard what Hitchcock said and thought that he'd called for regular artillery soldiers that were stationed at West Point. The generally upper-class cadets hated those lowly rank-and-file soldiers, and now what, Hitchcock wanted them to come and shell the barracks or something? No, absolutely not. No. The sloshed youths broke out their weapons in full and started fortifying the building. They besieged Hitchcock in his room, throwing stones and pieces of wood at his windows, and they broke everything. They tore banisters off the stairs, shattered windows, and smashed all of the cookery. By the time Major Worth arrived just before 6 a.m., The eggnog was beginning to wear off. And when he called for morning formation, the mutineers actually staggered out, sheepish and ill, making a ragged line under the cruel Christmas dawn. 90 cadets, 1/3 of the student body, took part in the eggnog riot. But since expelling 1/3 of the school would have been a major embarrassment, they decided to only court-martial the 20 worst offenders. Since he'd gone to bed, Jefferson Davis escaped charges and was instead confined to barracks for 6 weeks, meaning that despite helping instigate the party, he largely dodged consequences. And Robert E. Lee, who had not participated, testified on behalf of the accused cadets, using his reputation as an honorable gentleman to launder his comrades' actions. This would, to put it lightly, become a reoccurring theme in both of their lives. Ultimately, 9 cadets were permanently expelled. Their careers ruined so badly that 2 of them later became Confederate generals and won the Texas Secretary of State. Though another disgraced candidate spent most of his life entangled with the legal system, eventually serving 8 years as a justice on the Supreme Court. Oh man, Zoe, for a second I was worried someone was going to learn something and there was going to be accountability, but thank you so much for keeping the status quo. USA! USA! Hold on. This is strong. Actually, though, perhaps one thing was learned. Because these days, things happen a little bit different at West Point, as they send their cadets home for the holidays. So, if they happen to, say, get drunk and smash all the dishes, you know what? At least it's at their own family's house. Wow, Rob, that was a phenomenal story. Thank you for penning the script. David, thank you so much for illustrating this episode. Also, thank you so much to Mac, our audio editor, and the boys over at Devon House Creative who put together the edit. And you know what? Actually, this brings me to a larger point. I've been drinking eggnog the entire time I've been reading the script, and it has gotten me a little emotional. It is the holidays after all, and I'm the showrunner, and I can do what I want. So, I would like to propose a toast. I would like to cheers to everyone who works with us at Extra Credits. You are all wonderful beings, and these shows are ultimately amazing because of you all. I would also like to thank all of the viewers who have been watching with us either this year or over the years. Your support and, I don't know, kind words and just being overall wonderful beings means the absolute world to me, and I know it means the absolute world to the Extra Credits crew. So please raise a glass of nog, alcoholic or not, in the air and toast to a happy, wonderful, and joyous holiday season to you all. I wish you all the best. Cheers. And actually, in the spirit of said holidays, I kind of wanted to ask for your help with something. As you've probably gathered by now, I am an animal lover. I know, shocking. And particularly around this time of the year, with so many people-centric things going on in all of our lives, oftentimes charities that support animals receive less donations than usual.
Ooh. That was a good video, though. Let me know what you guys thought about it down below in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. That was definitely an interesting video, though. Like, they got trashed and trashed the place. So now they get sent home for the holidays. Can't blame them, though. Like, oof. I bet you that was a lot of repairing that had to be done. So, definitely let me know what you guys thought about that down below in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Positivity is key, and motivation is key. Happiness is key. I will see you guys in the next video. You guys watch out for each other. Stay safe. I will see you guys in the next one. And just in case I do upload this one on Christmas, Merry Christmas. Hopefully you guys do have a good one. I will see you guys in the next one.